Dr. Fred here with Tuesday Morning Transformation, and look what I have on. I have a backpack on. I bet you can figure out what this is a metaphor for, right? So we're spirits on a soul journey, but what happens? We go through human experience, we live with conditions in the world, and what do? We have this emotional backpack, and what is it? It's worry, it's stress, it's anxiety, it's the pain of our past, right? So what do we worry about? Let's see what's in this backpack. Let's take a look at this, because we'll show you what we're carrying. So if we pull this open right here, what is this? Man, it's got heavy stuff in here. What is it? It's worry about our job. It's worry about our relationship, right? It's worry about our finances. It's worry about our kids, right? What are all these worries? And we carry this because we have all this responsibility, right? So we carry this, and what does this do? Not only that, it makes my shoulders tight, but it wears us down. It burns our energy out, and then we look in the mirror and we go, what happened? Because I just got older. I look in the mirror. You know, when you look in the mirror and you look like you just got older. But what can we do? We can give all this to God, right? So when you have worry and you have pain, it's just conditions that we're moving through on a soul purpose. We can just take that off, right? And give it to God and say, God, here's step one. God, you got this. You take care of it. Why? Because I'm a spirit on a soul journey. 4 subconscious beliefs. I'm connected. God is with me. He's inside me from the inside out. You can't be disconnected. The only place you feel like you're disconnected is in your mind. It is literally spiritually impossible to be disconnected. So number one, we're always connected. Number two, God always has intention. So it doesn't mean he's going to keep challenges from us, but it does mean he's going to take us through it, right? It doesn't mean he's going to prevent it from coming to us, but it does mean with our faith that we're going to go through it. What's the third thing? Everything happens in our life, God's going to get us through it, and it's going to work out for our best. So every challenge, every pain teaches us something, makes us stronger, gives us courage. And then the fourth thing is we will fulfill our soul purpose. So I've had times in my life where I carried this backpack. Just a couple quick examples. And I remember my second wife, that's another story, but when she was dying of cancer, and I knew she could die any day or she could last 2 months. So at the time, I just started a coaching group. It was brand new. I was teaching technique, Pedabon technique, to doctors. And I thought, you know what? I can't be out of town if she passes away. I have to stay home, which means half my income was going to be taken away. And I thought, God, you know I have to do this. You know I have to take care of her to the day she takes her last breath, so you have to work it out. So what did I do? I said, there's no way that I can pay my bills, so you're going to have to pay them for me. And I took that backpack off, and I gave it to God. And guess what happened the next 2 months? My mortgage company sent me a check for $4,500, said I overpaid my mortgage. Are you kidding me? I didn't overpay my mortgage, right? The IRS sends me a check for $5,000 and said you overpaid your taxes. I called my accountant and he goes, I have no idea why you got that check, but you better cash it. Right? I had a buddy of mine, Dr. Lawrence Clayman. I don't know, Lawrence, if you're watching this, you're a huge help. He called me up and said, I want you to coach me. I'm sending you a $6,000 check. And don't ask me any questions. I know you're a friend. You don't want my money, but I'm sending this to you anyway. I want you to coach me. Thank you, Lawrence. That was an act of God through you. So $8,000 to $10,000 for those 2 months showed up at nowhere. Sharon and Burl Pedabon donated $3,000 to help me pay for just an amazing service. Thank you, Sharon and Burl. Burl just passed away. Rest in peace, Burl. You definitely changed the world. So at that point, what did I decide to do? I said, I can't worry about this. If this is too much, I can't do it on my own. I'm setting it down. Last year I moved from Washington State. Pastors Wendy and Casey Treat. Washington State is the least church state in the nation. They have the least amount of people that go to church. So they had a non-denominational Christian church. It was the largest church around the Seattle area in the Washington State. It's had about 2,000 people. They said, you know what, I want to build a 5,000 seat sanctuary. We want to have from kindergarten all the way through graduating college, 4-year degree. But we don't have the money. So everybody on the board, everybody they knew, you can't do this, but he had a vision and he had faith. And so they had enough money to break ground and mow all the trees over, right? You're in Washington. By the time the trees were done, they'd raise the money for the foundation. And people would say, where are you going to get the money to frame for the steel? We don't know yet. By the time the foundation was done, they had the steel. Then they had the money for the plumbing. Then they had the money to put the building and the drywall and the paint and all that. And now, years later, they have a 5,000 seat sanctuary with a full kindergarten through college. But guess what? God took them through the steps. What was the one possible variable that was unwavering? Faith. They had faith that if you have this vision, God's going to do it, even if I don't know how. So what did Casey treat? What did his wife, Wendy and Casey, do? They said, we could worry about this, we could have many sleepless nights, or I could give it to God and I could act in faith. Right? I could set it down. I could do the right things. I had a point where after a divorce, that was my first wife, I moved to Washington. I had enough money left with basically my skis and my clothes. I had enough money on the day I opened my clinic. I didn't have $5 to buy a sandwich. I was totally broke. But I knew how to be a great chiropractor. So for 3 months, I charged everything on credit cards, right? It only took a couple months to get $60,000 in debt on credit cards. 3 months after that, I was debt-free. But it was faith. What did I say when there was no money to buy a Subway sandwich? God, if I'm going to go bankrupt, then that's my purpose. But you know what? I did the right thing. I stayed faithful. We went to work. We did the right strategy at a very successful clinic, and now I'm coaching chiropractors. So sometimes what it is, we just got to say, you know what, God? I don't want to carry this. I can't carry this. This isn't mine. This is yours. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to love, I'm going to serve. And every time you stress, you say, God, you got this. And then when you stress and you put it back on, you say, God, you got this. And then when you stress and you put it back on, what are you going to say? God, you got this. And then when you put it back on, sometimes this is one day. Sometimes this is an hour and a half. Right? Sometimes we just don't know, but we get in our mind. But what are we going to say? God, you got this. This was also inspired by Joel Osteen, because I'm going through a couple things right now that really are great blessings and challenges depending on perspective. So I thank you, Joel Osteen, for reminding me of this message so I can give this message to you. People are watching you. Act in faith. Show them that you're a child of God. Show them that you're connected, and then remind them that they are too. Thanks, and I'll see you next week.